Welcome, Wing fans. We felt it's about time to bring some good news about the team and our new season, and we're going to bring it to you live on Facebook. So I'm joined on my left by General Manager Scott Langer, and on my right by Operations Manager Aaron Smith. I'm going to say a few words here, cover a few bases, and then turn it over to them. They've got some things they want to cover. It's been almost 6 months since the Wings have hit the ice and the fans have seen a game, and I think we're all getting sort of anxious, if you guys agree with that, to get this going. And we've been working tirelessly behind the scenes. It's been a lot of work at the NHL board level. I'd like to compliment Mark Frankfeld, our commissioner. He's led us through this, a lot of different considerations with the pandemic and how we approach this season, and I think we've got a really solid plan in place. Protocols have been developed. We got a couple doctors that own teams and connections with our own doctor, Dr. Olson, and we feel like we're in a pretty darn good position to put the Wings back on the ice safely. Players will be coming to town here shortly. Coach Langer will touch on that, and Aaron's going to touch on protocols, game day stuff, fan type stuff, how we're going to handle things, and yeah, so we're excited. So the regular season is scheduled to start October 9th and end April 24th, 2021. That's a 3-week extension on our normal regular season, with playoffs to follow after that. And Robertson Cup last weekend in May, pretty close, right?
Yep.
I don't have the exact date in front of me. The reason that we decided to go this route, it's a month later than normal for the NHL, and we also postponed the showcase, which usually kicks our season off, from September in Blaine till December, and a lot of that has to do with local situations as far as number of fans allowed inside a building and restrictions and things like that. So we're trying to wade through all of that, and we've pretty much done the same thing as a league level. So individual teams and divisions will not start on the same day or the same time. We decided that we needed to give enough flexibility to every league, every division, and every team within the league to deal with their local situations as far as their building goes, local, public, state regulations in regards to COVID, and being very sensitive to the needs of all of our teams in our league, because without everybody in our league, it's that's what makes us strong, and we're spread over so many states that I can't even mention them all. We did decide at the league level that the team felt that they were unable to operate this season, either due to their building, their codes, some places playing big buildings, some places playing small buildings, and there's public health and states and governors and things to deal with, that each team would be allowed to decide on their own if they should maybe take a year off. And we did have 2 teams decide that they're in their best interest that they sit out for a year, and hopefully they will be back stronger than ever for next year. There might be another team possible. We've got some deadlines set that I can't share, but we want to be as conducive or as helpful to everybody involved. Everybody can make the right decision that's best for their team, which in the end results being best for the league. And then that's one of the reasons we have not released a schedule. We wanted to maintain our flexibility to be able to make changes. We felt if we went out with a schedule, we've had a schedule for a number of months, but if we went public with that, and then all of a sudden we had to do a bunch of retractions and a bunch of changes, that would all be maybe too confusing. And as a league and as an ownership group, we decided that it's best to wait until we had the solid schedule. And it is coming, but our plans are to play a full schedule within our division, all of our division partners involved. And this pandemic, I think it has, with all of us, it's brought us all a lot closer together, including the owners in this league, and how we work together. And it's been stressful, and we've had a lot of we put a lot of thought into it, but we feel really good about what we're trying to accomplish. And the main reason we do this is for the players. These kids put their life and soul into trying to become a college hockey player and then possibly a professional hockey player. And to see these kids cheated out of an opportunity here, when we feel like that we know we can make this work, that's our number one goal. And also to bring our fans a lot of satisfaction and be able to see our players improve, compete, and move on to the next level. It's just good for all of us. So that's pretty much what it is on the news part. I do have a couple other little items, then I'll turn it over to Coach Langer. Exciting news that Nancy Odde has returned to manage the concession stand. She's told me the food will be fast, hot, and good, and I think she's sort of proven that she can do that over 10, 15, 20 years of managing it. And I have a lot of confidence that there'll be no long lines and waiting for items, which helps in social spacing. The menu might be trimmed a little bit just for that fact, so we can keep people moving in all different directions and be cognizant of that. And so I'm sort of excited to have her back doing that. It takes a lot of pressure off the rest of us when she handles that. And she also manages the store too, so appreciate her a lot for that. And we haven't had a chance to show it off, but we've installed a new deck board in the building here for your viewing pleasure, and I think it's going to add to the fan experience. We've got a lot of special things planned for it, and it'll take a while to implement some of them, but walk before you run type thing. But we're pretty excited about that. And I guess the news that we let out on Monday was, like it's up behind me, is we got exhibition games on the way. I know that for a fact on the schedule. As you can see up there, we've got Bismarck Bobcats coming in here on the 18th of September, the Minot Minotauros on the 19th, and the Austin Bruins will be in here on October 2nd and 3rd, and then hopefully followed by a season kickoff on the 9th, which we're not quite ready to announce yet, but hopefully in the next week the regular season will be coming our way. I guess that's all that I already have for updates at this point in time. I'll turn it over to General Manager Scott Langer.
Yeah, thanks, Greg, and good afternoon. I thought it was important that we kind of touch on a timeline of what's occurred here in the off season on the hockey operation side, and how unique it's been to build this year's team as opposed to the 20 years before this that I've had kind of somewhat normal routine of our scouting and our camps and all the fun stuff that goes into building a hockey team. And this year, way different, obviously, with the close of the season in March, and hockey pretty much around the country came to an end. And with that, that put our scouts behind computers versus being in rinks, actually being there to see those players play and to be able to talk to them and their parents and kind of establish a relationship that way. Coach Hill, myself, Steve Jennings, and all of our scouts, we really took to the computers quite a bit, and obviously the work that we got done before. That we're one real nice thing about what I have here and the staff has here in Aberdeen is we have quite the staff that goes out and recruits players, and they do that as soon as the puck drops. So we were able to get ahead of that. The league this year came up with a supplemental draft, and it's the first time in league history that the league came up with this. So we were able to draft 3 players. Each team was able to draft 3 players in May. And with that, it kind of kept us relevant. It kept the players interested. We were able to lock up 3 good players right off the bat. From that point, we were able to go into our pre-draft camp. And our normal pre-draft camp is usually right after the Robertson Cup in May. And that was pushed back to July. Right before our draft, our normal entry draft. So we were able to move our camp from Minnesota to the state of Ohio, Sylvania, Ohio, which was a fantastic venue. It was a very good pre-draft camp, which also had other teams in the North American Hockey League like Amarillo, Johnstown, and Austin. So it was quite the event for players to get noticed and showcased. From that point, we were able to go into our regular entry draft, which was a little back to normal, but almost a month behind where we usually have it. And with that, our main camp, which for all of us was extremely unique because we were in a new world. Everybody had to wear masks. Everybody was social distance. Meetings were different. How we conducted practices were different. But I think it was a good test for our staff kind of to figure out and understand how we have to deal with these athletes now and during these uncertain times. And we were able to have a great main camp. There was a lot of solid players, a lot of good athletes come out of that camp. Unfortunately, we couldn't have all of our roster players there, but it was a solid camp. That leads us up to the player update as we speak. Our first player is coming in tonight, which is extremely exciting. When we look back at when the players left here, the feelings we had so much that we just didn't know. And to have the first player arrive here around 5 o'clock today is super exciting for the staff. It gives us a little excitement. The players are going to be back in town. Our training camp is going to start on September 14th, where the entire team will take the ice. We'll go through our learning periods, which lead us into the exhibition schedule that we released. We thought it was very important this year with the amount of players, the amount of talent we're going to have in this room, that we did have an extended exhibition schedule, which leads us to 6 exhibition games with the possibility of 7 if it works out. So you'll see the players start to arrive today through the weekend and on the ice on the 14th. And the interesting part about that is that we spent a lot of time here in this setting figuring out the protocol that the players are going to have to follow in order for this team to be successful and stay healthy and stay on the ice. And our players will be checking in every day with temperatures. They have to undergo their symptom test every day, every time they get on the bus, every time they get off the bus, every time we go into the arena. So our staff has learned a lot as we went down this path of bringing the players back. And we're going to do everything the right way, protocol-wise. The North American Hockey League put out an excellent protocol that I believe is around 15 to 16 pages that safely allow us to go back to play. So we're pretty excited again. I don't have much more. I just wanted to inform you of kind of where we were this off season, how we got here, and the excitement of these players that are going to represent Aberdeen being back in the community starting today. Aaron?
I cut in for a second. I just got inside information from Coach Hill that the first player that's coming to town is an Aiden Verdes. You could probably write a book on his journey on how we got here. I won't expand on it too much, but you obviously know he's Hungarian, and there's a lot of travel restrictions around the world. He had to bus hop quite a few countries and stay in a few hotel rooms to get here, but pretty excited to hear these be the first one in town. Go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah, thanks. As these two have both mentioned already, we've been working basically around the clock since our season ended last March just to try to figure out how a season is going to be possible and how we're going to get it to look. So doing some of the things over the summer, like Scott had talked about with the camps, we were able to kind of test a few things out and figure out how it's going to work. So I've been working with the Aberdeen Hockey Association as well as Aberdeen Parks and Rec to kind of put together how it's going to work and what it's going to look like for a full 60-game season, because that's ultimately the goal. So putting some of these protocols into place is with the goal in mind of having a full 60-game plus playoff season. So with that in mind, some of our game day protocols, doors are going to open at 5:30 for all the exhibition games. We realized later on in the season that's not going to be a possibility to kind of lock any doors or have anybody left out. But for the first part of the games, we're going to be opening doors at 5:30. That's just to kind of reduce the amount of people gathering in the lobby all at one time. So once you are able to walk in, you'll be able to go find your seat and socially distance as you feel necessary. Another thing we're going to have is hand sanitizers at all the high touch areas. So anytime concession stand, beer, bathrooms, pro shop, any of those high touch areas are going to have access to a hand sanitizer. So you can kind of feel comfortable using that as you see fit. As far as masks goes, we're encouraging them, but they're not required. It's just one of the things, you'll probably see a lot of us wearing them, but we're not going to require anybody to wear them. We're also going to have an open door policy, so any doors that can be left open in high touch areas will be left open. A lot of this is just going to be to kind of limit the amount of touches on the doors. However, we will still have the arena staff going around throughout the game, sanitizing those and making sure that it's as safe as possible. We're also going to be doing that on the benches between periods as well. We're going to do kind of the common sense approach as far as a lot of this stuff goes. So we're encouraging social distancing when possible. It's not always going to be possible when you're here, but as far as conversations go and things like that in the lobby, restroom, that sort of area, we're just encouraging to keep your distance from people if they're uncomfortable with you talking to them close. Also wash your hands, limit unnecessary contact, and staying at home if you don't feel well. Like I said, it's a pretty common sense approach, but the ultimate goal is to have a full 60-game season. For the exhibition game, we are also only going to be using the east entrance. That's similar to what we've done in the past. This is just an easier way for getting season ticket holders tickets and keeping track of everybody coming in through that door. So it's a little bit easier for us to kind of maintain who's all here, how many people we're going to have. And then finally, the last thing I'll touch on is ticketing. We have switched over to an online no-contact ticketing system this year. We are working with Igniter Tickets and a couple other places to get that up and running, so that should be on the website either later this week or early next week at the absolute latest. But you'll be able to buy, print tickets at home or have them on your mobile device, and you can get them, scan them right before you walk in. That should cut down on the ticketing line in the building. So like I said, all this is just to kind of make it as easy and as safe as possible for the fans, the players, and everybody involved in this.
Thanks, Aaron. I guess just in closing, I just want to thank all of our supporters, fans, and advertising marketing partners. I know we got cut short last year, and really it was all out, nobody's control. Just something that happened through this pandemic that we had to do, but we're making every effort to make this a very successful season, and we look forward to seeing you all out watching Wings hockey. Thank you.